Kasra, coming to you guys with another video. And today we're going to be going over dropshipping advice that you should not be listening to. This is the same advice that'll keep you stuck, not make you any money, and have you wondering, does dropshipping even work? First one on the list is ripping ads doesn't work. You can tell how long a dropshipper will succeed for depending on how long they actually rip ads for. Is ripping ads fundamentally a bad thing? No. So what is ripping ads? Okay, ripping ads basically is you taking a video from TikTok or Kalo data, like a TikTok shop product, and basically running that product on your own ad account on Facebook, Google, etc. Now, ripping ads definitely doesn't work if you're stealing a brand identity, aka you're taking their intellectual property, something like a huge brand, and you're trying to sell off a knockoff version of it. But there's a lot of products on TikTok and TikTok shop specifically that simply are just manufacturers from China who are selling the same products that you would be selling. And as long as they don't have branding on the product and it's not like a proprietary product to them, I don't really see the problem with ripping ads. But it's not that the ripping ads part is the problem. It's the fact that you're not willing to put in the actual work into actually creating creatives yourself. And that's truly how you scale. You have to understand why a hook works, how fast to actually make the middle part of the video, when to put the call to actions, and you need to be able to teach your creators this as well. So does ripping ads not work at all? Absolutely, it does work. I know many people who are making millions of dollars a year just by ripping ads. But is it a detrimental thing that you shouldn't be listening to? I don't really think so. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the D tier. All right, next up on the list is the type of people who think they need one winning product to make everything work for their dropshipping store. Now look, the product is an important part of your dropshipping business. Don't get me wrong, but it is not a make or break. Let me explain. For example, you could go and sell the same exact product as me right now, the product that I'm making $10,000 a day with, and you're going to get very different results than me. That's because it's not the fact that the product is the winner, but it's because of everything else that I'm competing on with you. I'm running different funnels that target different angles and different customer psychological states. I'm calling each of my customers. I'm constantly improving my products. My pricing is better than you. So I inherently am competing on so many more things than you with the same exact product. Yes, you could eventually test a ton of products and eventually find one that works. When that product starts to work, you're going to realize that, wow, it's much more difficult than just the product itself to actually make this business viable and actually sustainable. So since this is kind of the thing I think that's putting most people into the negative with dropshipping, I put it in the S tier as to why you actually shouldn't be listening to this. It's because you need to be competing on so many more things than just the product itself. The product is probably 30 or 40% of the reason why your actual store is working. It's definitely nowhere near 90 or 100% like what most people think. Now, next up on the list is you need this specific ad strategy to make your e-commerce business work. You can tell everything about somebody by how reliant they are on a new strategy or a new hack in dropshipping, specifically whether they will succeed or they will fail. And this is because it doesn't matter in 2026 what your ad strategy actually is. It's not like it's 2018. Like when I got started with Facebook ads back in 2018, you could literally target specific interests and that's how your actual ads would scale. Nowadays, post and drama to update, especially on Facebook ads, they literally are focusing only on your creative diversity. If they see that you launched 5 ads and 4 out of the 5 ads are the same video with just different text on them, they're going to group all 4 of those videos into one bucket and that 5th video that is a different video into its own bucket. That's why your ad strategy really doesn't matter anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the A tier. And the reason I'm putting this in the A tier is because you could go out and set up a really shitty, campaign setup, but as long as you have everything dialed in with your actual marketing creatives and they're unique and nobody else is really doing that same kind of angle targeting and creative targeting, then you really are going to make it work. Every ad strategy actually works. It doesn't matter how you set up your ads. If the ad is good itself, Facebook is going to serve it in front of new customers and get you a profitable return. Obviously, there's ways that you can optimize it, right? You can, spend your budget in specific ways like bid caps versus cost caps. But that's at the point of you spending like 5-10K a day that you really can start optimizing those things. So when you're just starting out, you need to be focusing on the creative. Now, number 4, this is my favorite one, which is launching more ads to scale. You can tell everything about a dropshipper if they think they just need to launch more ads to scale their business. It's not about you launching more ads on what's currently working, but it's about you testing more angles about psychological variations of what is currently working. Say, for example, you are selling a weight loss product and your product helps people lose weight. And the current marketing angle that you take is moms who work from home. You're targeting moms who work from home to help them basically lose weight. That's one angle variation that you have. If that angle variation is bringing you a 2 or 3 ROAS over the last couple weeks, it's eventually not going to bring you a 2 or 3 ROAS, especially if you add budget to it, because the demographic who responds to that angle is only so big. So if you really want to scale consistently and not have months where you go like this and you go all all the way back down. You need to find the psychology of the type of person who responds to that kind of marketing angle and try to make an adjacent angle for that same kind of person, but maybe in a different mindset that they have. So like say for example, when you're selling your weight loss supplement or whatever it is to that mom who works from home, she really responded to that angle well on like a Monday or maybe like a Tuesday. But she has different psychological states on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and obviously Sundays. So maybe if you think about it from like a Saturday day perspective, you target her in the state of, instead of when she's working from home, when she's out with her family or out at the pool. That is a different marketing angle for a different psychological state of a person who works from home. But it's essentially the same kind of avatar that you're targeting, a mom who has kids and a family. But that's where you should be putting a majority of your focus in when you are running ads and running your dropshipping business, is running new marketing angles versus just creating variations. Because yes, obviously once you see something working, it doesn't mean that you don't put budget towards it, but you don't go and create 100 more of those creatives every week. Maybe you go create 10, or maybe you go create 20 variations of what is currently working. But 80% of your new creations, right, testing new stuff, should be put towards those new marketing angles, just like I explained. This is one of the most important things as to why you will be able to scale with your dropshipping business. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the S tier. All right, number 5, guys. This next one is one of the most common misconceptions that people put out there, that you need some sort of expensive Shopify theme to test a product and look like a trusted authority. You can tell everything about a dropshipper if they think they need some sort of really expensive theme to start their business or even scale their business. But guys, the truth is this: you don't need an expensive website. I've scaled multiple products to hundreds of thousands of dollars a month and eventually millions of dollars with very simple themes. This could be the Elixir theme, this could be the Shrine theme, this could even be the free debut theme on Shopify. I actually saw a tweet earlier this week. I'll put it up on the screen if I can find it, but I think Claude or ChatGPT, one of these like LLMs, basically make it so you can now import sections into a free Shopify theme. Like guys, you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. Sometimes people spend thousands of dollars on stuff like this. So I'll go ahead and put this kind of in the B tier. Obviously, yes, if you get a nice website, I'm sure if you put some work into it, it's going to look nice and the conversion rate may be even good, but it's a marginal difference. Like I said, I've used the Shrine theme, I've used Elixir. These are 20 or 40, 50, $100 themes that are very inexpensive that you can really customize to make them look professional. Next one up on the list is you need to be running funnels for your dropshipping business. Now, you can tell everything about somebody if they just started the business and they think they have to go out and start building funnels. 9 times out of 10, that kind of a person is really just not going to succeed because they don't even understand what type of awareness the customer is at who's reading their funnel. They don't even have data on their customer, and they don't have a proof of concept that this product actually works. Now, look, the whole point of running a marketing funnel like an advertorial or a listicle is really to educate your customers before they go and actually get to the product page to make a decision to buy your product. But I'm going to tell you like this: if you are listening to dropshipping advice and you're just getting started and you aren't scaling, you're not currently doing like 5-10K a day, stay far away from funnels. And I'll tell you it because of this. I only started building funnels once I actually understood the product that I was selling. This meant that the ads I was making were starting to work. This meant that the customers I called were starting to give me feedback on the reason why they bought our products. And that gave me the actual confidence to build landing pages based around the angles and the desires that I was currently creating. Whereas if you don't know which angle that actually works, which desire actually customers are buying for, and what your customer actually looks and sounds like, then you're not going to make good funnels. You're going to waste a lot of your time trying to learn copywriting, trying to learn funnel structure, when in reality, whatever the product is that you're selling, try to focus on finding a proven product first. That way you can enter a market that already has proven demand and people who are aware of the product. So you can send them straight to the product page that you can actually test. Then once you see that product page making you like 5-10K a day in sales, you can start moving over to building funnels. Now, this really isn't that important, so we're going to put it in the C tier. You theoretically could just start with funnels and it starts working, but as I said, I don't think it's that important. Next up, you can tell everything about a dropshipping business by how much effort they put into their customer service. And by customer service, I am not just talking about emails and SMS to your customers. I'm talking about the type of people who think the customer doesn't matter, that, oh, if I'm shipping it with 2 to 3 week shipping, that's just what they have to deal with. Look, every action in this world has a reaction. If you think that it's a good idea to serve people a product and a service ultimately by shipping them a product and not actually delivering, transparency, not actually caring about them giving you their trust to send them a product, the universe around you is eventually going to crush. Maybe it's not this store, maybe it's not this month, but eventually you will have karma come and bite you in the ass. Now, a couple months I was talking to the founder of Comfort Clothing. It's literally the fastest growing e-commerce brand in the entire world. And he said one simple thing. He doesn't listen to his team. He doesn't even listen to himself sometimes. He listens mainly to what the customers say, because customers will guide your business. But when you have a bad product and a bad experience, they will not want to talk to you. But if you genuinely focus on giving customers a good experience, this could be with a fast shipping time by using a US supplier. This could be by actually sending a quality product that you yourself tested and you make sure your supplier tests. But ultimately, when you put in the effort for the customer to have a good experience, right, and making sure that the customer knows that they are always right, your business will not only grow in sales, but it will grow in popularity, it'll grow in value, and ultimately you will be running a business, not just a dropshipping store. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the S tier because I think it is far more important than anything else. And the reason it's so important is because you need to understand something when it comes down to the customers who buy from your store. If you are selling a product that's one time and it's not a subscription-based product, you need to make sure that people actually, want to use the product, right? Because if they get the product and they don't use it and they just throw it to the side, it's low quality, then they're not going to refer other people to you, right? They're not going to come back and buy other products that aren't that same first product that they bought. So yes, the customer does matter a lot, and it's probably the most important thing that you should be listening to in regards to your dropshipping business. Next one on the list here is the type of dropshipper who says, it wasn't profitable, so I cut my ads. Now look, obviously you shouldn't be letting things run into a huge negative, but when you clearly don't understand why something didn't work and you're just turning it off because the numbers are bad, then you constantly get into this negative loop where you launch something, you turn it off, and you don't actually understand why you did those things, right? Everything in marketing is a feedback loop. Imagine a circle like this, right? And your input starts right here, the circle. And when you input, you get an output. Obviously, to go from that output back to the input, you don't want to just have a straight line. You want to fully learn and complete that feedback loop as to why the actual result came. Because if you aren't continually improving yourself, not only as a marketer, but as a business owner, right? And you're continuously making emotional decisions. So like every hour you're checking your ads or every hour you're turning things off. That's not how ad platforms were made. I mean, think about it like this. You're competing against people who are spending hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, right, on businesses every single day to advertise them. And you expect to win that auction just because you launched a cool Facebook ad campaign from watching a quick YouTube video. But yes, at some point you can win an auction and it does become profitable for you. But you need to really make sure that you don't only focus on the unprofitability of your ads, but what the unprofitability is telling you. Like, was your cost per click too high? Did people not like the actual video? Was the CTR low, right? Did they actually like your ads with a low cost per click? Was there a high CTR? Did they just go to the website and the add to cart button was broken, right? Does your payment processor even work? There's so many questions that you have to be asking yourself and making sure that you're analyzing before you start turning things off. This is a pretty important one, so I'll go ahead and put it in the A tier. All right, next one up on the screen is the AI models. You can tell everything about a beginner in dropshipping by how much they automate AI with their dropshipping business. Like, they try to do this new Claude MCP to connect Canva and Shopify and all of these things into their business before they even start selling a single product. Now, the problem with this is not that they're taking their time back and being able to work more in their business, which is the benefit of AI, but it's that they have a broken foundation to start with, aka they do not understand why things work and why they don't work. They just see this huge rainbow and this huge shining star of AI, and they think, I need to implement AI into my business before I get left behind. But truly, if you don't understand something, how do you expect to scale it? Like, how do you expect to understand Facebook ads and creative marketing and angle diversity and supplier communications if you've never done those things before? Now, AI can really supercharge your business, and a lot of the students in our Multiply AI Accelerator program have actually succeeded because they already have a business, or they started a business and they actually learned the foundations and then applied AI to it. But at the end of the day, as I said, you need to be using AI for the right things. It's not a big deal at the end of the day, so I'll put in the B tier. Now, last one on this list, you know everything about somebody who's in dropshipping, if they'll succeed or not, by the fact that they think that they can do everything on their own just by watching videos online. Now guys, I can't lie, I started dropshipping from learning free information online, but it was until I met people in person my first year dropshipping. I went to a mastermind in LA for some coach, and I started to learn that there was people doing $40,000, $50,000 a day, right? And this is in 2018. My mind was completely blown. I was like, dude, what is going on? I did not know that these kind of people existed, right? These YouTube videos, right? These, Twitter communities at the time. I didn't know that this is actually what was out there. And the type of conversations that I have now today with my friends are sometimes things that never make it online. They don't have social media accounts. They don't have big followings, right? They're not posting YouTube videos. And there's only so much information that I can give you guys here on these 20, 30-minute videos. So that's why it's so important to understand that yes, you can learn things on your own, but you shouldn't be able to rely on it fully. Like, I have friends that are making $5 to $10 million a month on average, and they don't even have a social media account. They don't go on, these talk shows or YouTube shows, and they really just focus on growing their business. But when I talk to them about something and they tell me something about their business, right, that gets me into a mindset and gives me actual information that I can put into my business and be able to apply for myself. And you can do this through, networking with, partnerships, with mentorships, write courses, books, all these things. But I would really highly recommend that you guys understand one thing, that all of the information you want is already out there. It comes from you actually implementing it and putting yourself in the right places. So yes, you do need to put yourself in the right place. Don't think that you can just do everything on your own. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the S tier. Now, if you want to be one of the students that I help one-on-one actually find a product, build a store, and scale it up, I'm taking on a couple more students this year into my Multiply AI Accelerator program. It's a private one-on-one mentorship where I actually guide you through step-by-step on how to find products, how to scale them up, as I said, and actually build a real business that you can sell one day. There's very limited room because I have to actually believe in you to work with you, but if you think you have what it takes and you have some money to actually set aside and invest into your own e-commerce business, you can go ahead and click the first link in the description down below. As I said, this isn't a free program, but if you actually believe you have what it takes, then I'm more than willing to take a look on it if we can potentially work together. Anyways, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.